So I'm traveling through the Appalachian Mountains, and I started doing a little research on these people. They came mostly from England, Ireland, and Germany, and they chose to live way out in the mountains. In the Appalachian Mountains, it's beautiful out here, full of flourishing, ballooning trees. It's just amazing, all the greenery out here in the spring. It's so beautiful. And what happened was they fought with George Washington and the Patriots because they wanted to get the Redcoats out, because the Redcoats were oppressing them with different taxes and all this stuff, right? So they played a big part in the Revolutionary War, you know. And after that war was won, there was a whiskey rebellion, because what happened is George Washington started wanting to tax the people in the mountains up there, and the whiskey and all that. And there was a whiskey rebellion, and that's how they started making moonshine and all that stuff all the time. And they refused to pay the tax. So George Washington went with his troops up into the hills and up into the mountains, and with all his troops and guns and everything, and they forced those people to pay taxes, you know, because they thought they had freedom, you know. Well, they just wanted to be left alone, and no one would leave them alone. After that, coal was started to be mined out of the mountains by these big industrialists, you know. And these people that were just farmers were forced off their land, forced to become coal miners, and everything, you know, they were given money that everything had to be bought at the company store. And you know how unhealthy that is. So many people died in the mines, and then they had a big revolt, you know, and the federal government came in there and just shot at them all, you know, killed a lot of them, just shot them dead. And you know, it's like today. You know, like last night I was at Walmart, you know, and at 1 o'clock in the morning, they come and wake me up, and say, you got to leave the parking lot here. You're not allowed to sleep here. And I said, we don't care where you go, you just can't sleep here, you know. And it's just almost impossible, you know. They want you to have a house. They want you to have a car. Everything is under their control. It's all a big control game for the big industrialists, you know. They own the world. They want to own the world, and they want to control all the people in the world as part of their game, as part of their resource. It's a one-man game, you know. Actually, it's the devil's game, because he wants to take everybody away from God and to destroy people's souls like his soul is destroyed. And so that's gotten more intense as the people grew. The less freedom we have. They used to live out in the hills there. They could do anything they want, man. They didn't have no government. They didn't have no police out there. There were communities. They knew how to take care of themselves. And if there was justice that needed to be done, they did it. They did the justice because they were personally affected by the wrongs that were done. They would make sure justice was done. And they loved it out here, man. That's why all these people from all these countries, they came to the United States, because they heard, hey, we got freedom over there, man. We can live out in the woods, you know. Free people. And they called them hillbillies, you know. They went out there and they lived in them woods, man. They had freedom out there. It was good. And they had the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, that protected their rights. But little by little, they started making rules and regulations. And the Constitution was thrown out, man. No more freedom anymore. No, because we got these little rules, you see. Well, who made those rules? Nobody voted for those rules. They were just arbitrarily made, you know. And they are more important than your rights. They are more important than the commandments of God, according to the government. See, they raise up their own rules on high, as if they were the commandments of God, and they spit on the commandments of God. That's what these wicked men do. That's why God is going to destroy them off of this earth. And yeah, so now you know, in the 60s and all that, it's even gotten worse. Now they tell you how many people can live in a house. You know, people used to be able to build on their land, do whatever they wanted with it. Not now. That's the government's land. If you want to build something, oh, you pay money for it, yeah, but they still own it, you see. They'll tell you what to do. If you want to build a shed or something, you know, you have to have their permission. It has to be according to their specifics, you know. You want to build a little house or something, you know, they're always, you know, you can't even build a house or anything. You have to have a sewer and all this kind of stuff, a septic tank. What about the animals? They don't have septic tanks. How come they're okay? They're not polluting the world. They're not polluting the earth. And yet men are doing that. And those hypocrites, they pollute the earth, and yet they want to make all these rules for you. You know? You can't pee on the ground, but a dog can. You know, the dogs have more rights than the people, you know. And then, so everything is just like a prison, you know. They don't want you to exist outside that prison. That's why if you live in a van, or even if you're homeless, you're about ready to die, the homeless people. They get kicked around from place to place. They have no place to rest. If you have a van, you can rest. But what happens if there's no Walmarts, man? It's tough to find a place now. In California, I knew where I could hide. I knew the little places. But when you're in a strange place, man, and there's not so many people like there's in California, it's hard to blend in and hide. But, yeah, so it's all heading forward that total control and the mark of the beast. That's what they want. That's their goal, to get into their kingdom. And, yeah, so their kingdom is going to fall, you know. That's what's going to happen to it. God is going to destroy them with a rod of iron. He will dash them to pieces. And those that are called and chosen and faithful with him also. He will give them power over the nations, just as his Father gave him. And they will also dash the nations to pieces. I'm talking about when Christ returns. They're not going to do it before that, no. Before that, we did as Christ did when he was on the earth. But when he returns, you see, he's going to set everything straight and solve the problems and rectify all the wrongs and destroy all wickedness. The law are the commandments of God, but the law is really love. Love is the law. That's what the law is all about. Is love. Love is the law's fulfillment. Can you imagine the whole earth? Everybody only doing things with love, that have a motivation of love for others and love for God behind it. What a wonderful world it will be. And these bastards that try to make their own rules and make you conform to their rules, you see. This isn't just in society. This is in the churches also. They're making their own rules and trying to confuse it with the commandments of God, so you don't even know anymore which is which. That's their whole game, man. It's a whole satanic game they've been playing for a long time. And you know, that's why you have to separate the wheat from the chaff, separate the lies from the Word of God. And the commandments, the rules and regulations of men. You know, and the churches, they make their own rules and regulations and try to elevate that garbage to the Word of God. No wonder they're depressed over there. They're miserable. They have no freedom. You know, that's what I say when I say the churches are always there to try to control the people according to government regulations, not according to the Word of God. I had one guy telling me that all they're doing about preaching is conforming to the world. That's all their preaching is. One guy was telling me you got to stop at this traffic light, and he gave me an illustration. If the cop was the cop started beating the guy. And he says, "Okay, you want me?" Because the guy at the traffic sign. He says, "Well, why didn't you stop completely at the stop sign?" He says, "Well, I just eased up on the gas so I could see it was clear, and then I knew I didn't have to come to a complete stop." And the cop started beating him. He says, "Okay, you want me to stop, or you want me to just ease up?" It's like a joke. But I mean, what is this garbage? Obeying the commandments of men is the same as obeying God's commandments? That's what they teach according to Romans 11, and that's not the meaning of Romans 11. They make so many stupid, damn little laws, no right turn here, no U-turn here. I mean, there could be nobody for miles and miles. You could be the only car there, and they're making these little laws. They're just making you into guinea. They're just saying they want to make you into a fool, man. Let's see how we can make these people bow down to us. We're gonna be God. That's what their idea is. Let's make fools out of them. They must obey our every command, or else we'll give them a ticket. That's what the whole thing is. Yeah, so we're not free. We're in the fear of the police giving us tickets, and wiping out our pockets, taking our money. There's always something. They can put you in jail for whatever they want. And this is a threat. This was a threat, and this is the taking away of our freedom. That when this country was first founded, they had none of these laws and regulations. It was truly free. But now it's just like every other place. And there's no more freedom here. It's a big prison. And they want to make the whole world into prison. These few bastard rich people. And they want to rule the whole world and be left alone as the rulers and the only ones that can enjoy life, and everybody else is just their property. But Jesus Christ bought you with a price. That's why he says, fear them not to kill the body, but cannot destroy the soul. Don't be afraid of them. You have freedom and you have power. I give you power to tread on snakes and on scorpions and over all the power of the enemy. That's complete. God is far above them. So you take that power and you proclaim